Welcome to the Mindset Mechanics Podcast with Juan and Ladybug Jenkins, where we help you find, face, and fix your broken thinking. The shop is open, so drive on in.
Welcome to Mechanical Monday. You are in the shop. I'm Ladybug.
And I am Juan
Jenkins.
We are your mindset mechanics.
Reminding you that you can find it, face it, and fix it.
Welcome in today's episode titled Your Life is Your License. We're going to discuss the dangers of needing permission and how it can keep you from progressing in your life. So Ladybug, why don't you tell the crew listening what it means to need permission?
Yes, sir. It's actually exactly what it sounds like. But more specifically, permission is defined as consent, authorization, or approval to do something. If you think back to your childhood, like most of us, one of your favorite things was probably a field trip. You had somewhere amazing to go that you were very excited about. There was a time, there was a place, some special instructions, usually a price, and the written in stone permission slip. You could have the money, your bag lunch, and your swimsuit in your backpack, but if you did not have that signed permission slip, you weren't going anywhere. They would even oftentimes have someone from the front office posted at the door of the bus with that list of stragglers who did not have their slips turned in, and it did not matter what you had. If you didn't have that permission slip, you were going to spend that field trip in the library. And all of that is fine when you're in 5th grade and you want to go to the water park. But the problem is that too many adults carry that right into their grown-up lives. And if you're not careful, it can stall your progress. Now, Jay, you happen to have the perfect story for this topic. So why don't you share with the crew so we can get a better idea of what this looks like in real-time adult life?
I sure will. Okay, so I remember this time when I was working at this facility and I decided to return to nursing school for my degree. I had been working on this job for years, right? And I knew it would be a challenge, so I came up with this plan. I researched schools and found the ideal program. I calculated the pricing, hammered out the schedule and everything. I thought about the demands of my time and money. I took all of that and formulated a strategy that would allow me to meet all my obligations at my full-time job while I was attending school full-time, right? That didn't even include my duties at home and at church. I got everything together. I scheduled a meeting with my administrator, and I went to this meeting and I laid it all out for him. I explained to him how my production at work wouldn't decrease, and because the degree would still be in nursing, it would even benefit the company I was working for. He seemed engaged. He was nodding his head. He seemed receptive. I thought we had a good rapport, so I left the meeting feeling really confident. I went back to my office and I mentioned it to my coworker and explained it to him how my schedule was going to change and et cetera, et cetera. I thought we were good until a couple of days later. He called me back into his office. His whole attitude has shifted. He's going to now tell me that it's not going to work out. It says that it's not going to fit for my department. Mind you, I had my own office at this time and already offered to come in on evenings and weekends to make sure all of my work got done. Then he just flat out just told me that it wasn't going to work and that they needed me in the office Monday through Friday and at normal business hours type stuff. Man, I was so devastated. I had done everything that I was supposed to do, and I had been on this job for like years. So I was a solid employee. I weighed all of the costs, money-wise, time-wise, energy-wise. I considered them as well as myself. I did everything right, and I still got wrong. I was trying to better myself, which would, by extension, better the company, and it still was a no. I felt really trapped and disappointed.
Ooh, I'll be honest. I love this story so much. I had the honor of watching you during this situation. I remember when you came home and told me what your administrator said initially, and I felt great too. And then how he changed directions on you a couple of days later. I wanted to butt in really bad, but I knew that it was a turning point for you. As the former poster child for being bullied, I can smell it a mile away. It's easy to forget that bullies grow up. Most of them don't stop, they just become more subtle. And I tend to respectfully push back really quickly, which does the trick most of the time. And, I've always watched you be humble and hardworking. You're never late, very rarely absent unless you or one of the children is in the emergency room. You're cooperative, a team player. And it's really easy for adult bullies to interpret that as, oh, he's an easy target. And to be honest, I was also really furious because after all of the years you performed the way that I described, he had no intentions of supporting your going back to school to improve yourself. So tell us what happened. Did you find your exit, Jay?
Did I? Yes, I did. I initially thought, well, I guess I can't go back to school now. I had obligations as a husband and as a father, so the job felt like a necessity.
Mm-hmm.
Then something clicked. I realized that my administrator did not even care about me at all like I thought. I remember when they threw us that baby shower, you remember? It was awesome. Decorations, food, gifts. And then we get back home and they sent more gifts to the house. I believe that they valued me as an employee and as a person. This situation was a wake-up call. It really doesn't matter how many fancy parties, birthday cards, employees, or the year awards, or anything else they throw at you. At the end of the day, people are out for themselves. And then I realized at some point somebody got into my administrator's ear. They got into his ear and convinced him to tell me no. So now it's not just him, it was two people that said no and was trying to block me.
Mm.
So then, I said, you know what? I decided to do do what I needed to do for myself, because at the end of the day, people are out for themselves. So I resigned from that job and I found a new one. In the interview at this new job, I explained to them that I would be attending school and that this was my plan to ensure all my work and obligations would still be met. They offered me the job right away with all my demands met. It really taught me something.
That is amazing. And yes, you are so right. I do remember that baby shower. I remember walking in, or should I say at that point, waddling in, because I was huge and being really amazed. And I thought to myself, this looks like something a family would put on. The decorations, the attention to detail, the food, the table full of gifts. They even somehow found out, my nursery theme, and they had a safari theme for that. And then only to come home and have more gifts and flowers arrive to the house. And I thought to myself, wow, they really value my husband. And even seeing your picture up in the lobby, in that frame, in your uniform. And I was like, man, these people really see my husband for who he is. But even though the administrator didn't respond the way he should have, after letting some random hater try to roadblock you, it's testimony to how you treated your coworkers and how you moved on your job. While the administrator didn't respond appropriately, your team did. Over all of the years that you were there, the baby shower, the birthday parties, all of that just goes to show that there were people who saw you for who you were, and that's what you have to cling to at times. But I remember how ecstatic I was when you told me you were quitting. The children were really little. They were, I think, about 2 and 3 years old, and the budget was already tight, but I did not care. I was so proud of you for taking this leap of faith. And we had to make some serious sacrifices, but I have never regretted it, even though I think I did fall out of love with couponing while you were in school when I had once loved it, RIP to my little coupon binder. But I do want to make sure the audience knows that this is not just a workplace thing. Your administrator could have been a friend or a relative refusing to babysit for the few hours you would need per week to go to school, or a co-parent who won't make even a small adjustment in drop off or pickup times. Once you know what it looks like, you can spot it and deal with it anywhere.
Yeah, I know that's right. I think it's more common than people realize. People can block you or run you right off into the ditch very easily, man. You ever had that type of situation?
Which time? Most memorably, I remember when we were planning our wedding back in 2000. And like a lot of young ladies, I had been envisioning my wedding since I was a girl. And that absolutely included the dress. So I went ahead and I made the appointment at the big chain bridal store that was the place to be in 2000. And I went shopping. And I went with my mom. And so I told the attendant what I wanted. She went and grabbed several dresses, and I tried on one and another. And then I put one on, and I immediately fell in love. It was like in a movie when the pixie dust falls, and then the dress and the hair and all of that. And I stepped on that pedestal in that 360-degree mirror, and I just felt like the queen of everything. And I looked over at mom, and she had this expression on her face, and I immediately knew that she did not like the dress. So, long story short, she told your girl that she was too big for that big dress. So, it had this full skirt and this corset bodice. And it was really beautiful to me. And she just told me I was too big for the dress. And I was about a 16 or 18 back then. And she hated it. So she went out onto the floor and she grabbed a dress that she liked. And I ran in and changed. I put it on and I came out. And to be really honest, I felt like I was getting ready to marry Captain Crunch or something. It had all of these double buttons down the front. It had this straight skirt. Like I didn't know if I was supposed to march in or salute. You know, I absolutely hated it. I was like, am I going to do the Pledge of Allegiance instead of my vows? Like, I didn't know. So, but I'll confess, I smiled and she loved it and she offered to pay for it. And I took the dress. I did. I took that dress. I let them pack it up in the big bag, and I plastered a fake smile on my face, and I dropped her off home, and I went home, and I cried like a baby. And then a few days later, I took that dress back. Yes, I did. I exchanged it for the dress of my dreams, and I took it home, and I treated it like a military operation. And I kept that dress hidden until the day of the wedding, and she never saw it until I came out dressed. And, I didn't do that to disrespect her or anything like that. But I knew back then I was only going to be married one time because I was marrying the man of my dreams. And so I knew my dress was a once in a lifetime thing, and I was going to feel beautiful in that dress.
And
And
beautiful.
thank you. And I felt beautiful. And that is what mattered. And a lot of attitudes have changed now. And, they tell you can wear anything at any size.
Mhm.
But in any event, that was really a turning point for me when I learned that even as a young adult, I was still an adult, that, it's your journey. So let's look in the rearview mirror for a minute, Jay. Can you give the crew one tool for overcoming the need for permission?
Yeah, so in a nutshell, look, I put myself and my family first. I mean, that's what the administrator was doing for him. My hard work and sacrifice for the company meant very little at the end of the day. He had no trouble telling me no, so I had no trouble in quitting and finding the yes I needed to pursue my goals. That's the takeaway. Do what's best for you and your journey. So how about you? What's in your rearview mirror on this topic?
Well, Jay, you have to remember that even people who love you can have their own agendas, fears, insecurities. Sometimes it can be a jealous coworker that doesn't want you to escape. It can be a spouse that's afraid if you lose all of the weight and get in really great shape that, they may not have all of your attention anymore. It can be a friend that doesn't want you to leave the department and get promoted because then they won't have the support that they need. So while it's not always negative, it's not always in your best interest. They can love you and still want things that are not in your best interest. Anything you want to add?
Psalm 37:23 says, "The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delights in his way." If you have God's permission to do what it is that you're doing, you're good to go.
Yes, I love knowing that. The best part is that God knows everything, and his motive is whatever is best, not just for you, but for everyone involved. So, what's up next, Mechanical Monday, Jay?
Okay, so our next episode is titled, "Can I See Some ID?
Mm.
The Problem of Imposter Syndrome."
Ooh, my. I cannot wait for that one. So, pull up next Mechanical Monday for a chat about your identity.
So thanks for stopping by the shop. We trust it helped. I am Juan
And I'm Ladybug
Jenkins, reminding you that you can find it, face it, and fix it.
Amen.
Amen.
Thanks for stopping by the Mindset Mechanics shop with Juan and Ladybug Jenkins. Join us next time for more tools to help you overhaul your mindset. Remember that you can find, face, and fix the way you think.